Hi, welcome to our session on Rising to the Challenge. We have 6 or 7 teaching weeks left until our Year 1 children sit their PSC. So what extra push can we give? What extra little things can we do to ensure as many children as possible get the outcomes that they and you deserve after all the hard work that you've put in? We'll look at 2 things this session. A really quick whistle-stop tour of our sound assessment tracker and how to use it effectively, and a speed sound sprint. Let's take a look at the sound assessment tracker first. You can find the sound assessment tracker on the Ruth Miskin website. If you go into documents, next, and scroll down until you find Sounds Assessment Tracker. Once you've completed your assessments this half term, you'll fill this in for every child in Year 1. Like I've done already, pop their names, the colour book that they assess at, so the colour book they'll be taught next half term, and then fill in your 1s and 0s for this sound knowledge. This document is brilliant because it will enable you to filter for the colour groups. So you'll be able to click the top drop-down menu and order them from A to Z, and your children will then be in colour book groups. So you can see all the red children are together and all the pink children will be together. And you can use these and share them with your group teachers for next term. It's going to help them prioritise the code that they need to cover to ensure that their children in their group are ready for phonics screening check. Get back to the PowerPoint. So once you've shared this with teachers, it will enable them to prioritize the code. You can show them how to see which gaps are missing. Looking at the 1s and 0s in their group will enable them to see which sounds are missing and which sounds need to be taught. You can then use this to inform your speed sound sprint, but don't forget the additional assess code. So if you're doing a nonsense word check in April, then your additional assess code will be on there and you'll be able to see the gaps. So just on your sound assessment tracker, they are missing from there. So that's just something to be aware of. So once you've completed your tracker, you can then think about your speed sound sprint. It's very exciting. It's basically a speed sound sandwich. So at the beginning of every lesson, your teachers will teach a speed sound session, prioritizing the gaps from their sound assessment tracker. Then teach half an hour of the storybook and then finish the session with another speed sound session. The full session from start to finish, including spelling with Fred Fingers, but it will be a different sound, a different piece of code. So they'll have a different new pile, a different review pile, and a different set of alien words. So the storybook session is going to take longer because you're topping and tailing your session with a speed sound session. This speed sound sprint replaces review lessons. So Ruth Miskin is advising that we do this at every half term, following every half term, for every colour book. And on that week, your speed sound sprint will replace your review lessons on the Thursday and Friday. It means you'll be able to cover so much code. But at Jerry Clay, we are asking you to consider whether you might want to think about this speed sound sprint for all of your children in orange and below to prepare them for PSC. Thinking about next half term and using it to maximize as much sound knowledge as we can. This might be something that your teachers in orange and below use throughout the term. This means that we can prioritize all the code that's missing. We can cover the additional sounds, but we also realize that it's only focusing on accuracy and sound knowledge. So what we want you to consider is using this for half term. And then after the PSC, we can think about application and fluency. Okay, so 2 top tips for this time: Sounds Assessment Tracker and using your Speed Sound Sprint to plug as many gaps as possible. Good luck.